Hello, welcome to For Your Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got the amazing 1/16 scale monogram. This is the Kenworth W900 truck. Now, I'm a massive fan of all the American big rigs, as a lot of you know, and I've wanted to do something like this for a long time. So when this came back in stock in the UK, I just had to grab one. And boy, was I not disappointed when this box turned up. As you can see, it's a huge, great box. We've actually got the old wide angle out for everything. You can see that is the model on the front, so it's nice to see monograms still do that thing of showing you exactly what you're going to get instead of some photo or all the bits and pieces. See, we've got the Kenworth symbol, so it's obviously been properly endorsed by. We've got some nice detail showing you down there in the engine, so we can do a little bit of engine work. Bit of basics about the model, exactly what you can expect. This thing's going to be 20 inches long, that's how big this thing is. Okay, absolutely monster. 278 parts, a little bit of colour call out, obviously Kenworth down there again. Bit on the back there, so your kit number for this one 852508, and again some more pictures of the actual truck, all done and built, looking absolutely fantastic and lovely, and just a repeat on the other side. Now this one here, as you can see, is still absolutely factory sealed. I haven't looked in it at all, like all my reviews, so let's dive in and see what we actually get. Okay. And there we go. So, trying to get the lid off. There we go. So, box stands there. Very nice, strong box, as you can see. So we've got armoured sides onto it as well. So we just flick them up to get in here. Now, this is 1/16 scale. So talk about, you know, I won't do a bigger kit again. Honest. There we are. Right. Tons. Okay. So I'm thinking I'm just going to take these parts out and lay them down because the boxes are all far too big just to have floating around here, and that way we can get rid of the box. Alright, we've got something else in there, let's just get rid of that one. Okay, now a little bit bigger than my last vehicle we were looking at, so I've got some decals down there and all the parts. Wow, monster. Okay, so we just drop the top cam down just a little bit so we can see. So this is obviously Revel monograms, usual way and call outs of. Right, so this is all your parts. Part one, the cab. Okay, right, okay, got you. So, you know, at least I should know what I'm talking about on this one. Okay, right. So, starting off, as you might imagine, being obviously truck and things like that, we've got actually the chassis going together. Multi-part chassis, as you can see, all the way through. Okay, then we've obviously got the suspension system, so we've got the wishbones going down on there, and the dampeners and all the bits and pieces just like that. So the steering system, and as you can imagine, it's then going to continue on with the brakes and the hubs and everything else and all the cylinders going in there. The lower deck transmission system, as you can see, highly detailed build, okay, which is nice to see on these civilian vehicles, okay, right the way through. So then we're actually working on the power plant itself, okay, putting that together. Doesn't look to be terribly detailed, but as I said, it's something that obviously lends itself very nicely as you make your way through to come in with your own wiring and various bits and pieces. All the cam belts, the fans, all the bits and pieces being put on there, the turbocharger, and then mounting it up to the chassis. Okay, and then obviously we've got the drive shafts going in there and everything else, radiator set, and then it's down onto the inside. So we've got the side steps going in, the fuel tanks, okay, and the air tanks and all the tanks you can imagine on these things being fitted onto the lower chassis. So it's actually going together very much similar to the real thing, how it would be built. The hub system itself, so you have got to cut open the inside. We'll have a look at those in a moment for the tyres. And so it's vinyl tyres with obviously hubs going in onto the side. Lots of those to go on. Then obviously we've got some mud flaps going down there and all the rest of it, putting them in there. The cab itself looks to be quite basic. Again, we'll look at the moment. So we've actually got the systems down there, obviously all the cab going in together, the truck, the airfoils, things like that. The rear part, so obviously we've got the sleeping quarters at the back of the cab and the little part on the top. So I'm amusing, this is sort of a multi-part the way they've done it, like the real thing. Caps, as we saw just a moment ago, slips in together. Decal placement, obviously you do that probably afterwards anyway, okay, and then it being fitted onto the top. Then it's a case of going through adding all the little things. So we've got the air filter system going in there. Okay, putting all the parts on, as you can imagine, right the way through, all the lights, these beautiful stacks at the back, the running lights, everything else like that being fitted on. Okay, lots of grab handles, you know, foot placement, things like that. Quite a complicated set by the looks of it for the actual wing mirrors and aerials onto those. All right, and then obviously fitting those on, and again, some spotlights going on, and some normal lights, things like that. Then it's working on the front hood for the inside, the wings. Again, painting those up, grille being fitted on, and then obviously we're going to have a latch system which we assume will not be glued, so you can actually show the engine off. It looks very, very nice. The decals themselves, as I said, you've got options. You could paint it yourself or go down the option of the decal route. If I am honest, these decals are horrible. They are thick, they are not solid colour either. You know, it looks a little bit crappy, to be honest, on the box. They look even worse down here. Well, the camera will pick those up, but generally they are not the best looking decals in the world. Okay, so I probably will give it a different colour scheme. Right, okay, so giving you an idea of how big this is, we've got the standard cab just like this. Unfortunately, we do have closed doors, so we don't have an option for opening up the doors and having it shown open. We're just looking down on the inside and there's nothing about a date in there. I'm just wondering if there's a date on this kit. Again, we've got some quite large seam lines for the ejection moulding, but you're assuming it would probably have something similar to it in the moulding process of the cab where it was welded together anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. Generally it all looks to be pretty nice, no problem at all. We have got some scuffs, lumps and bumps out of this guy, but certainly just like the real thing, we'd go around and clean it up. Quite heavy flash, I don't think you'd even call that flash, extra mould I think at this scale, so we've got a little bit on there, but generally you can see looking pretty nice just like that. The internal cab, got texture on the floor so you could get away with your flocking on the floor. Obviously the soundproofing and the panelling onto the side is moulded directly in, which is pretty good. Okay, and then obviously we've got a curtain system. I'm assuming this is what this seam line is moulded in here between you and the back, so you can't actually see into the back of the cab set in there, which I suppose, you know, rightly wrongly, you could open it up, put your own cab in. This scale you could even put your own lights in, let's face it. You've got plenty of places to hide it on this. Okay, so you could put the wiring in and hide it all away and everything else like that. So as you can see, basic, but you know, in this scale, again, we were talking about it earlier in another review, that some of this stuff, it's big so it looks chunky and toyish. There's your front. Okay, so that's the nose of it right the way through. Again, it's quite plasticky and toy-y and everything else, but you imagine it will run right. On here you can see they've left the seam lines in, and you're assuming they've either built it straight out of the box, but I might be inclined to lose that. I can't imagine it's got it in real life, but not having access to one of these, I'm sure one of my members will probably be a driver and can send me some reference shots. So if you do drive a Kenworth, send us some photos. Right, okay, whilst we're on the blues, move them out the way, we will continue down in the blue set and look at the rear. We're assuming that was one lorry at one point, and then they've added this into a conversion to give us this. Okay, so down here, instead of being moulded in one, we've now got multiple parts. So we're assuming you probably could open up that back panel and have this in here instead, because one assumes this would then lock onto here. So if you wanted to, you could then have it coming through. Generally, again, very sparse detail, but it is because of the size. These are a little bit nasty. Again, makes you wonder if you could just sand them out and put metal banding around it or strips around it in plasticard just to make them a little bit sharper and things. But as you can see, nothing to get excited about. I'm assuming these are wing mirrors just down here. But yeah, you know, it's all here, but it is so big. It's a big model. Okay, so inner wings, as we can see, we've got some more detail down here for the side compartments, stowage compartments. Nicely done that they've offset this, the push handle on the side. You know, technically that's quite a nice touch. Okay, right the way up, the riveting detail, all the bits and pieces, no problem with that at all. Okay, the roof, again, monster. Okay, so there's your roof, right the way through, doing it like that. Okay, and the bottom parts, again, quite chunky. Nothing you'd go wow about, because there's nothing to wow about. Okay, Interent panel. Again, we've got the wood effect moulded into the plastic. It's quite a nice touch on these. You can probably see it right the way through. Checker floor, which is quite a nice touch. The other side in a well. Yeah, I think that'll go quite well. You could do a nice wood effect on that. Okay. Right, where do we start? Let's have a look down here in the chassis and running gear. So, right, okay, so front grille, the size of that monster. Front grille, the seats looking quite nice. We've got the cushioned, the padding in the seat moulded in. I think that'll take well back. The actual steering wheel itself, with, is that a Kenworth symbol in it? Yep, they've even got moulded a little Kenworth symbol in the middle of the steering wheel. All the parts, as you can see, that standard sort of monogram way of it. Nothing sharp, nothing, you know, but it's the scale. This is a big scale. Okay, all the ejector pins seem to be flat and flush and out of the way, so that's not a problem at all. No problems with any of that, pretty straightforward. It's a shame, you know, some of this, obviously this is a major part down here, I'm assuming this is the steering. Okay, it's not multi-part, so you can actually have the gear facing and things like that, but, you know, can't have everything. Chassis, so obviously it gives you an idea of the length of this thing now. It doesn't even fit in the camera, so chassis, okay, right the way through, and then obviously we've got the other parts all down here. Again, quite nice. It gives me the scratch test, which is quite a good sign. So what I mean by that, when I run my finger over details, if it scratches your finger, you know they're sharp, crisp detail. And to be honest, all of these bolts are doing that, so that is very nice indeed. Okay, a lot of this transmission work and various things, you can see all down in here. It's quite basic, but you know, again, it's the scale. At this scale, it's going to look what it is. Okay, you could obviously upgrade it. It's a shame that things like these, the bags, they're not actually in vinyl, because that would then look probably better, instead of moulding them in plastic. So the one chance you do get a proper vinyl that would look good, they've missed. Okay, so you've got the other halves of them here, there. Okay, but it would have been nice if they were one-piece vinyl. That would have been really nice. Again, beautiful chassis down there. Gives you the size of this monster. It's going to be a beast. Okay, relief springs. Very nice indeed, no problem with those at all looking very good. I can't see any faults with the kit. It's got a little bit of flash here, there and everywhere, but generally as you can probably see, it's all very nicely done. No problems anywhere that you can see as in a fault, mismolds and all the things like that. Right, let's stay with the black stuff and we'll work colour wise, I think. Okay, so small bits of tape and you can shake your stick at. Okay, so what we have here is the hubs. So we've got the actual gear hubs themselves, sorry, the wheel hubs. Okay, got the fifth wheel down here at the back, very nice indeed done. The plate and all the mechanisms, the mud guards are all moulded in one. Again, strange to see it moulded in one. You'd think this would be a multi-part, you know, putting it together, but it's not. So look at this way, at least it'll go together well. Do like the texture though on this. This is the actual back of the axles running across here for the transmission, and it's textured, which is quite a nice touch. Like these are textured here, very nicely done like that. Again, the belts all look very nice, but unfortunately there's no detail. There's quite a lot of burring between the two, so a little bit of clean up with those just to smooth them out. The pipe's looking quite nice. Okay, a little bit of painting with the old rubber paint, black paint. CB, I'm not going to do it. Break one, no? Sorry, can't help myself. Okay, engine. Actually, that's a monster. Look at that. That's beautiful. Lovely detailing on there. Okay. We've got the rocker covers over here, all different parts, so you can see. Again, it's a shame it's not in multiple parts and all the rest of it, but it is multi-textured. So obviously you've got this down in the here, with the graininess of the texture, with the smooth of the engine, everything else like that. So it's going to take a bit to mask it off when you get it together, but I think some careful planning before you sort of jump in there with all the paint and stuff, I think it's going to prove really, really helpful when you're doing that one. Again, some of the smaller stuff down at the front here, beautifully done, nice, sharp, good textures. The hosing and things like that, very nice. Again, there's multiple, you know, effects down on here on these guys. Really, really nice on all of that. Again, it's not a million parts, but what is here is extremely well done. It's very, very nice. Right, chrome stuff, then we'll go vinyl. Okay, so you either love this stuff or you're going to hate it. So this is it, all done in chrome. So this is technically like electroplated, they dip it. It's not all the way through, so unfortunately when you cut this off the sprue you're going to be left with a silver spot. But I defy anybody to get a finish like this from a can, because it just isn't going to work. Okay, so it is very nice, but it's going to come at a price. Okay, and that price is little marks on it where you've actually got to get it off the sprue. But as you can see here, it's black underneath. This is where it's been done. These are the grip points from, I think it's like electroplated with this stuff. They dip it and then pull it out. But it is very, very nice. No, actually, I think they might even spray it, because look, we've got some mist stuff down here. It's sprayed from this side and you've got a shadow. So, you know, very, very nice though. Beautifully done. Love this checkerboard. And it is this chrome, this effect, that's going to draw your eye to this model, because it's got plenty of it on it and it looks extremely well done. So it looks to be beautiful there. Okay, the exhausts. Okay, so you've got your stacks here. Again, look at that. This is why I love these kits. Absolutely fantastic. Beautiful stuff on there. Again, you could put it together and then spray it yourself and go down that route and then lacquer. It would be fine, but it's a shame that the locating points are so big, because they are huge chunk ones onto it, so you're going to have to touch those in or plate it, whichever way. Got the horns here as well, very nice touch indeed. Do like that, but just this effect, this mirroring down here. You see, look, there I am. Hey, very good, no problem at all. Beautifully done. Okay, so front grille. God, did I just cut through something then? No, I didn't. Wasn't close to it, but we've got bits rolling around in here and I'm not sure where they're from. Sorry, there's a part just rolling around in here, this little guy here. Okay, so front grille, beautifully done. Again, I'm not sure, perhaps you'd want to, I don't know, see through it maybe. Photo etch job. Not sure what's available on the aftermarket side of this, but there again, beautiful front bumper. All the chrome parts, very nice. We've got the Kenworth logos all on here, the headlights, everything else. All this beautiful chrome which makes these trucks so special and brings them to life. Okay, so that is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so what do we got here? We have the smoked. This is for the top, I do believe, for the area at the top. Perhaps not. We're going to get one. You get two on each side. Sun visor, maybe. Yeah, perhaps this is a sun visor. Okay, beautifully done. Nicely moulded, clean, crisp, sharp, clear. No problem with that at all. There's the other one. Sorry, two of those. What do you think? Okay, and then okay, so there we go, a beautiful, pretty good clear. You can probably see there, that's not a lot missing out of that, kind of catching out. A couple of little dents and things in there, but hey, really being picky. That side's even better, that side's perfect. See with the light reflecting on it, and then if we do the same on the other side. Come on, camera, alright. God, we just had it a minute ago, there we go. You see this one's got a couple of little dents in it, you can see them just there, but the rest of it's not so bad. Headlights, all the lighting, all the fog lights and all the bits and pieces, beautifully moulded. They've all got the pin in the back, so that makes them nice and easy to fit on there, and paint obviously for those to go through, so that's a really nice touch. We got down here a little bit of cordage and is it string? Bag chain assembly. So we have a little bit of chain, quite a nice touch, scale chain, won't bother getting that out. And we've got this stuff which is literally string, painted black. I thought it might have been tubing, but there we go, we've got some rollers there. And then, last but no means least, we have some wheels. So again, not too bad at all. We've got a situation where you have to cut all of these out to obviously install the other ones into there, so I'm not going to go around about doing that now, but as you can see we've got the actual tyres down on here, no problem at all. Hefty centre seam running through these, as you can probably see on the other cam. right the way through, so that's going to take some trimming away. Okay, but generally not too bad. Tip for vinyl, put it in the freezer, then sand it. Doesn't tend to wobble so much then, it's like rock hard and quite brittle. Then let it thaw out normally, but if you leave them in the freezer overnight, then do it, you shouldn't have a problem. Okay, so but yeah, we got Michelin on these, which is quite nice touch. Radial, got all the markings down on these tyres, which is a very nice touch indeed. So there we go, what a monster. This thing is absolutely stupidly big. Look at the size of this thing, it's like horrendous. Yeah, well, when I was going to do a truck, I didn't quite think it was going to be that big. I don't know why, but hey, bigger is better. It is something I want to do, going to be doing it later on in the year, because I've always fancied doing something like this, so definitely it is on my hit list to do one. Again, we can get back to looking at gloss painting, and mirror finishes and all that perfection that we don't tend to see with modern military stuff and things like that. So there we go, that is Monogram or Revel's new-ish 1/16 scale Kenworth W900.